You could read Leviticus 18 as a catalogue of sexual perversion forbidden to God's people and leave it at that. Perhaps we might reflect that if Israel needed to be warned off these things, there truly is nothing new under the sun, and that in itself is a helpful corrective. But there is more. If rather than focus on what can't be done, we pay attention to why it can't be done, then we start maybe to acquire some of the understanding that we really need if we're going to engage faithfully with our God and with the community surrounding us on the subject of sex. Israel is told that they must not do stuff. And what's the reason given for why not? It's always about relationships. Primarily, it's about a relationship with God. I am the Lord your God. It's repeated several times. The why not, therefore, is you are in relationship with me. And that's not all. You have, she is your mother, that would dishonour your father. She is your sister, she is your close relative, and so on, including that would dishonour you. So you're in relationship with yourself. We are. This is the first point of conflict with the way that the world sees this. The world sees it pretty much, well, if two people love each other, what's the harm in ... In other words, and only when it's convenient, the sexual relationship is spoken of as if it takes place in a vacuum, hermetically sealed from all our other relationships. It's therefore nobody's business but mine what I do. It doesn't. It's simply not the case. Human relationships do not work like that. And Leviticus 18 makes this clear. The sexual relationship is part of a matrix of other relationships, beginning with and rooted in our relationship with God. As human beings, if we're messing up one relationship in order to fulfill another one, then we're getting it badly, seriously, catastrophically wrong. Notice that this matrix of interconnected relationships includes our relationship with the environment. If you defile the land, it will vomit you out. So we, I think, have challenging questions of our own to ask of our neighbours who advocate what they call sexual liberty. Questions like, well, whether or not you believe in God, how wide is the matrix of relationships for you? Does your account of healthy sexual relationships require that people have distorted relationships elsewhere? Do you think this planet can afford to have 18 billion people all living in their own truth? Do you honestly think that is sustainable? And then if they want to know the reason for our position, for us, the sexual relationship is only as good as all the relationships that surround it, and that begins and ends with the relationship with God. We're only given one way to pursue a sexual relationship that won't distort the other relationships on the matrix somewhere. If this is not open to us, we're going to abstain. How does the world get the message, though? It's not convincing, is it, the church, when it's standing by the route of the gay pride march shouting hate speech? And it won't be. It can't be. Because if you read Romans 1:18-32, yes, you could very well conclude that hundreds of people strutting through the city and flaunting their sexuality is all included in God gave them over. In other words, his punishment for idolatry is actually his permission. Have it your own way. But look what else is part of this picture. People who are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit and malice. Oh. So if you see the gay pride march being heckled with hate speech, the marchers and the hecklers are actually both belonging on the same page. Both are part of the permissive society that is God's punishment on idolatry. What did we say earlier? As human beings, if we're messing up one relationship in order to fulfill another one, then we're getting it badly, seriously, catastrophically wrong. We need to bear this in mind as the church, as we engage with our happy, moral, pagan neighbours. We cannot mess up one relationship in order to fulfill another one and then say it's in the name of Jesus. It isn't. God's voice only gets truly heard when people are living by his Spirit. It's the only way to live in relationship with Him. It's the only way to be faithful in our relationships with others. If you have been, thank you for listening.